Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to the Personal Power Circle Talks with Roxane, where we're going to spend some quality time here. I'm going to speak my personal truth and share and explore the messy parts of personal growth. As you get to know me, I'm a deep person, an empath, love to reflect and contemplate about life. And in this talk, let's talk about normalizing grief. So last year in 2024, I experienced my first grief, a giant heartbreak. My dad passed away from a heart attack. It was around the holidays that luckily my dad came to Amsterdam since he lived abroad in Egypt to spend the holidays with us. And once when I said goodbye to him at the metro station, I knew deep down that this will be probably the last hug from my dad. I had that same feeling when I knew that my parents would get a divorce. So in the week of that my dad left from Earth, on Tuesday, 13th of February, we learned that my dad went to the hospital since he couldn't breathe really well. And then on that Wednesday, February the 14th, I managed to call him and talk to him, which was nice. And then on that Thursday, the 15th of February, I was hanging out with my best friend from university, and we're in the same phase of building our own business. And we were talking about, or I was sharing about to him that I'm really in a good place. I'm really happy and joy and bliss with my Ayurveda studies. Like I found my path since he knew my entire process. So that was really nice to share that I feel so happy. And then on that Friday morning, I was going to help an Ayurveda cooking workshop. So I biked there in the morning. A beautiful morning, the sun was shining. And so while I was setting up the cooking workshop tables, I heard on my phone vibrating, but I thought in the first instinct, like, why would someone call me so early in the morning? So I kind of ignored the phone. Then I heard the vibration again and again and again. So then I eventually picked up the phone, and my mom was there on the line and telling the news about my dad passed away this morning. I heard that she was crying, and my first reaction was in denial or in shock, I would say. So then I told the workshop organizer about the news, and she reacted in a very empathic way. And I was still in denial, but I can feel in my body I was calm. And then one of my aunts called, and then my cousin called, but I still wanted to help out the cooking workshop, which I did. And then once that we finished making food and we were like eating, afterwards I told the organizer, okay, I have to go now. I even suddenly felt also my body was so heavy. And the moment when I left the door, I started crying, eyeballing. I biked back, went home, and then my another aunt called up, and I was just crying, crying all the tears. And then she asked me, what do you need at this moment? And I just told her, I just want to be alone and just feel this sadness or just cry it all out. And during the talk, she mentioned about if I wanted to talk at the funeral. And at that moment, I just reacted like, no, I don't want to talk at the funeral. I was just deep in this crying situation. And once the talk was over, I just started crying, 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 so many tears. But also deep inside of me, I also just contacted all my friends because I know me, I know myself, and the old Roxanne would have just closed off and not told everyone. But this time I told my close friends about this news, and they were so supportive. A few friends just asked me if they are willing to come, but I honestly said that no, I just need to be alone. And I knew that later on that day in the evening, my mom would come from abroad to Amsterdam. But at this moment, I just wanted to be alone and just cry, cry, and cry. So once the evening hit, I picked up some pizzas, and I could still remember that I was so sad. Even people could see. And once I saw my mom, my sister, and my sister's boyfriend, to be honest, I couldn't eat at all. And we were just all like, in a way, digesting this information and also starting to talk about the practical stuff, the funeral organization. So that evening walk really helped just to digest all the information. And yeah, that was really helpful just to move your body. So my personal experience was like the 2 to 3 weeks. I I was breathing so heavily, like it was like this. It was just done automatically, and it's so fascinating because according to the traditional Chinese medicine, lungs is a representation of lungs. So it's just to let go. And I find it so fascinating that the body is super intelligent. And at the same time, I just had a low in energy. It was just like an energetic hit, a giant hit or something. Like I was so low in energy, I couldn't do almost anything. So I have really respect to people who are chronically ill or have low in energy in general. So much respect there. And also thanks to Ayurveda, it really helped me just to be centered and just continue, day by day. And seriously, the power circle of my friends, eternally grateful. They supported me so much, and they were just there, and I could just express what I'm going through, and they held really nice space. And even another good friend was also in the country since he also works abroad. And so I visited his place, and they have pets. And in that evening, the dog just could sense that I was really sad, and he spent the entire evening just close to me. And I found it so cool that animals can also sense things, what we're going through. And animals are such a great support. What I experienced, that I could hear my dad's voice in my head and then calling me Slinger, which is my nickname that he used to call me. And it was really interesting to observe also my sister and my mom's experience, and they actually have vivid dreams about my dad. And in a way, to be honest, I really already thought about death, or for me, death, I'm not I'm not scared of death. Maybe it's because I believe in reincarnation, and once the physical body is gone, you can still have another connection or a different relationship spiritually, energetically. So now I'm going to ask you, how do you look at death? I'm curious. Comment below if you're watching on YouTube. So let me talk you through. So let me talk you through the funeral. I must say, the preparing and planning. Thank you so much, Mom, for all the help. I was honestly, I was not in a mindset to do those things. And also what I experienced, that for me, I was in this timeless bubble, or in this energetic cocoon. Like, for me, time was timeless, and yeah, I was just really, I would say, contracting. We were like planning about the funeral, and obviously I wanted to say something at the funeral. Um, so one evening, my sister and I, we had dinner together, and we just talked about the situation. And from that beautiful talk, suddenly I had so much inspiration what I wanted to say at the funeral. And then we, the three of us, my mom, my sister, and I, we planned out the funeral, what kind of music we wanted to play at the funeral. And the whole organization of a funeral is such a process, or also in a way helpful to accept and digest this whole grief situation. And then on the day itself, I remember it was such a beautiful day, and going to the funeral place, I saw so many signs. When we were at the metro, I saw like an ad going to Egypt, Cairo, since my dad lived in Egypt and Cairo. And then outside, I saw like camel statues, which reminded me of my dad. And once we took the taxi driver was listening to the Quran, which is Arabic. So I knew he was there on that day as well. And for me, on that day, I really told myself, Roxane, you're not going to go in the old pattern, which is disassociating, not feeling or being in my body. And this time, I changed this pattern, and I really experienced the actual day. And looking back, it was obviously at that moment, it's awful. I mean, you're so sad, but I was really present there and listening to everyone's speeches, and also all the people that came. I really felt the love there. And then after the ceremony, I spoke, and doing the speech, or just a few sentences, doing the talk, just a few sentences, it was difficult, but I knew it was good to express what I wanted to say. The first time that I experienced this sadness wave, I was sort of scared, like I've never experienced this before. But at the end, but then you learn that you will just get out of the wave, and then you just move on and take it day by day. But then another sadness wave comes. But then eventually these big waves will get smaller waves. And it's true. And also time helps as well. So at the end of the day, grief is not linear. Um, and for me, if I reflect even more, is that this was really another invitation for me for a giant reset. Because really, I knew, like, once I was just really in this beautiful cocoon, like what I said earlier, I was in this timelessness. And looking back, I think this energy really held me very well, by just, Roxane, focus. Like, this was a giant reset for me. I dropped even 6 friends. I just really prioritize what is important for me. And obviously just explore ways to be in motion rather in the stuck energy, in that heavy energy, because I experienced that before when I entered in my first dark period of depression or numbness. The best way is to take action. So then I just explored myself and to learn more about things. So I joined Casper van der Meulen, like his breath work session. And then also what happened was my light language was expressed during a video that I watched from Sky Life on light language. I even joined I even joined her soul creator community. I really highly recommend if you want to be surrounded with like-minded people, creators. And really the old Roxanne would, really numb myself. And this time I changed that pattern and I feel the feels, even though it was painful. And to share it to friends, that was really helpful for me just to express it. And what was also very helpful for me was to talk to people who went through the same experience. And luckily, there were some in my friends that also lost his dad. So that was really nice to talk about it and to normalize it. And I can honestly say I'm accepting it. And I see my dad every day. And in a way, he lived his full life. And I'm just happy that I have this connection with my dad in an energetic level. And I can honestly accept that this is just part of life. And I see my dad every single day. And he really lived his life, which I'm really happy for him. And in November, in this month, around his birthday, my sister and we're gonna go to Egypt, visit to all the places that we went with him, and visit some friends there of his, and also, yeah, visit the Egyptian museum, which is now officially open. So if you're going through a similar situation, you're not alone. Ask for expert help for support. I did that, and that's how I got into touch to Reiki, understanding the energy in a deeper level since I was so low in energy. And I'm so honored to share Reiki and to serve people. Reiki supported my grief process. For me, it was such a warm blanket of love, what I needed to have at that moment. And I'm calling in 3 people who wants to experience in-person Reiki sessions with me in Amsterdam. Experience your natural state. My website is live. Check it out at personalpowercircle.com. Other resources that I wanted to share. So in Radi's podcast, she also shared her experience on navigating grief. I will put the link of the podcast below. And also another podcast from Thomas and Stefan, where Thomas shared his experience on grief when he lost his mother. And I want to also share this beautiful book, Language of Emotions by Clara McLaren, published in 2024. And this book really helped me as well, since I really thought that emotions are negative and, it's not allowed to be here. But actually, all emotions are welcome to come. And at the end of the day, emotions tell you information. And her website has so much extensive information too. So if you have reached this far, I appreciate you. You are enough, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.